I gotta show you these.
What? What? Sixth Sense, Unbreakable? Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
This is precious.
My original tickets, man.
That is amazing.
Always have them on me, always have them on me. So here's what I want to ask you. I was just talking to Samuel L. Jackson about this.
You blew me away. I don't even know how to continue this interview.
Neither do I. I'm like, this is like an honor to sit across from you.
Thanks, bro. I mean, seriously, that's the most touching thing ever.
I always had them. So one thing I want to ask you about, I asked Sam Jackson this question, what are the 94 breaks? Have you actually broken down what all 94 are? Why the number 94?
You know, when you're writing, you know, there's actually numerical, you know, emotion is something, obviously, that I can't explain, but, you know, you find the numbers. Why 23 personalities and the 24th personality? Why 94? These are just things, you know, as you're writing, I try like, I don't know, 78? No, that doesn't feel right. That's fine. It's just enough that felt like time had gone by, but he's been in a hospital and somewhat protected, you know? So it's fun. It's really kind of an extension of what has his life been like since Unbreakable.
When we have sequences where James is on all fours running, and the all four run scares the hell out of me. It's amazing. And then the crawling. How much of that is CG, and is there any practicality there? Is there a stunt person doing that?
Yeah, it's practical, and we just took out the wires.
What? So is it James?
No, it's the stunt person. Yeah.
That all fours run.
Incredible, right?
It's so scary.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. Yeah, we wanted it to be, you know, as the extension of possibility as possible.
Yeah. Now, obviously, I'm a huge fan of Unbreakable is my favorite movie you've ever made.
Oh, thanks,
I think it's an absolute masterpiece.
Thank you.
And there's a great shot in this film. I won't give away specifically what happened. You see it almost go from digital to 35, and you can kind of see the grain of the film from back. I was curious what that felt for you to kind of see that transition from the digital to the film, and you know what that was like for you to kind of see that happen.
Yeah, I mean, we shot Unbreakable on Fuji film with anamorphic lenses, and what that means is, you know, it was a very specific time in film where the grain was a specific way. We picked the Fuji film because it's kind of a little cooler, and at that time was one of the sharper films. And the film is even more effective because of the lenses. Those anamorphic lenses are almost out of focus when you watch them today. So really fascinating. It was shocking because now everything is so clear that you don't realize, you know, 19 years ago, we were watching things that were essentially out of focus.
One of my favorite shots of all time, though, is that shot in Unbreakable as the camera goes back and forth.
Yeah.
I always wanted to ask you what the choice was of that shot. We see Bruce, you come over, the woman sits down, and you keep going back. What was the purpose? I thought that was such a brilliant idea, but what was your intention?
It was the little girl's perspective.
That's right. Cause
she sees that he's a superhero in essence and is watching him, and then he's kind of trying to scam this girl, and she's disappointed in him, you know, and she's watching and kind of going, you don't know you're a superhero, do you? Again, this is all inside the child, but that's where I was coming from.
Very cool. Now, obviously, one of the coolest things about these movies, I mean, I love the scores. I love James Newton Howard's score on the original Unbreakable film, but I think the best thing about these movies are your cameos. I love your cameos, and I was curious, what is the art form to writing the perfect M. Night cameo? Like, do you take into account of how do I want to place myself, and then on top of that, do you have a favorite Hitchcock cameo of all time?
Wow. You know, I'd have to think about the Hitchcock one. There's so many that are so cool. Him just kind of walking by, walking a dog or whatever. You know? But for me, it's important to not derail the movie when I come into it. That, you know, because the audience is, I'm the bridge between the kind of suspension of disbelief of the movie and reality, and I'm in the middle there for them. I'm the author of this, and I'm in reality. So they're like, he's the director, he's the writer, and you get pulled out. So I have to pick and choose, and I tend to want to make fun now and have fun with it and wink, you know, and people giggle. So that's kind of where my head's at, as early as we can, and don't derail them.
My two favorite shots in this film, I'm talking about masterful level, was the close-up on Jackson's eye as the wheelchair comes in through his eye, and then also that long tracking shot of him wheeling himself as McAvoy is beating up those bad guys. Are those shots you just kind of imagine in your writing, or do you come up with those kind of on the, not on the day, but like when do you come up with a shot like the eye?
I have a process where when I'm done the screenplay, I make the movie on a piece of paper. So I draw everything, draw the entire movie from beginning to end, every shot. And that takes a few months, that's 2-3 months. That part is unusual in movie making, to make it before you make it. Like Pixar obviously does that, but for live action to do that. And so those two shots you mentioned were, you know, we were intended, stay with him, and in the background, the beast is beating up all these people, and you're hearing the sound effects, and it's getting more and more out of focus as he's wheeling away from them.
Now, obviously, there's something special about hearing Sam Jackson's character say the word avenge. Because you think about the Avengers, I mean, obviously with Nick Fury, I mean, I know this is super hypothetical and super nerdy, but could you see these three characters, if you were to write a scene of them fighting the Avengers, these super villains, these characters, how would you, because I mean, it's all mental. It's all about what you're doing, what sleight of hand. What would you do as a writer to put those against each other?
Well, it's very hard to imagine because the whole point is no one flies. There is no lasers coming out of eyes. There's nothing of that. It's just an extension of what the human body can do to some extent. So the only way they could exist in the glass world is if we saw them at a press junket for the Avengers or something like that.
This needs to happen. I want to see this happen. And last thing before you, obviously the way you use camera and the way you use score, I love the way you use them as leading characters. Can you talk about transitioning from James Newton Howard, and this is a different composer here, but you still bring in James's themes.
Absolutely.
How did you direct the composer to kind of work off what James did, but kind of also make his own theme for Glass?
Well, Glass was a very tricky score because Wes had to bring in his score from Split, James's score from Unbreakable, and now create a third score that is the personality of Glass. And those three scores needed to work together. So it was really, really, really tricky.
Yeah.
And we were very excited to use some of the pieces from Unbreakable because of the nostalgia of it. And I kept it very much to those flashback moments and related areas of those flashback moments. So you were kicked back into your emotions back then. So that's where I was coming from. And then the new stuff he did is incredible. I mean, Wes recorded the score in the mental institution.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
When we finished shooting, he went in the middle of the night, set up all the microphones, and had a violinist come in and percussionists come in. And so the things you're seeing were recorded in the rooms that you're seeing. And that's just like, next level cool stuff.
I'm more curious about the transitions between the personalities. Are there ones that are easier to go to from others? Like, are they planned in such a way where you can go from Patricia to a certain character? Does that happen?
They're planned, I guess, in that Knight wrote them in the way they're written, so that they were planned in that way. But I don't think there was any thought given to an ease of transition necessarily. If one was tricky to transition from the other one, it was just my job to sort of do it, and find a way. But I guess, if somebody who doesn't have DID is going from a place of being completely content, happy, and chilled to a place of being panicked and distraught, it's kind of not that different. They're so vastly different places that you could think that maybe they're like two different people. But in the case of the collective that live in Kevin, instead of just changing your mood and your whole another facet of your personality being expressed, it's another persona who comes out who basically is the best one at dealing with that facet of that original personality,
How do they enhance you for the Beast in the sense of, like, your traps get, like, so huge?
That was my traps.
Are you kidding me?
They enhanced me with veins. They gave me CGI veins, but my traps just weren't like that.
Do you have to, like, specifically pump up before the shot? Like, what is the process of that?
Well, I worked out for about 4.5 months, ate a ton of meals a day, ate 5-6 meals a day, and worked out 5 or 6 times a week. But before every take, it was important to, as the Beast anyway, that he doesn't just stand there going like, I'm a bad guy with a good body.
Yeah.
He had to be like his blood was pumping and going crazy. And but the thing that wanted to grow on me more than anything was my neck and my traps. And so when we started to realise that, the trainer that I used, Magnus Ligback, was like, let's just go with that. We'll work everything else out as well, but let's prioritise your back day and we'll get these traps going, because they were the things that wanted to get freakier than anything else.
It's crazy to watch.
Yeah, they got really good. But also, like, if I'm standing straight, you don't see those traps as well, but like, you just lean over a little bit. You learn how to manipulate and sort of make them come out more. And also, there's a bit where I'm lifting the car.
Yeah.
And like, it looked crazy. It looked absolutely crazy. I mean, I think hiring Magnus Ligback was one of the best things they did for their budget, because it saved them on CGI.
Yeah.
They still spent money like putting in veins and all that kind of stuff, but they had to put in a lot less because of them.
What do you think is the window for spoilers? For example, the other day I was telling someone about The Sixth Sense, and they were like, I said, Bruce Willis is dead, and they were like, wait, why are you spoiling that? I haven't seen that yet. I mean, we're talking 20-something years ago. What do you feel is the window for spoilers?
I don't think there's any window for spoilers.
Never give them away.
No, not really. Unless like the person says, like, I've said this a fefew times, I've got a kid and I don't really watch a lot of movies anymore because I just don't have the time. So somebody's going like, oh, the end is amazing, but I'm not going to tell you about it because you watch it. I'm like, do you know what? I might watch it, but I think it'll be 10 years before he's moved out that I get a chance to watch movies again properly. So just tell me the ending. I'd like to talk to you about it. If somebody says, like, do you know what, I'm never going to watch it, tell me, but I'm interested in chatting, cool, you can do it then. But otherwise, just don't even go there.
All right, well, I'm not going to give this ending away
Thank
to you,
you,
even though
thank
you've been
you.
in the movie. Yeah.
Thanks,
Hey,
man.
well, good to
Cheers.
see you. Thank you so much. That's crazy. I thought the traps were CG. I cannot believe those.
No,
were
the traps
practical.
was-
You have a great line in the film. You say, I found someone who will require your full potential. And I know you've been working as an actor for a while in this business, and I'm sure actors have found different things, or directors have found different things for you as an actor to kind of get a bigger range, because your range is incredible as an actor. Was there a particular film or moment that you think tapped into a full potential of you as an actor, that found things that you didn't realize?
I don't know. Everything has its, own sort of rules and regulations and how you operate inside of a world. There are characters that specifically ask you to do things that are outside of your comfort zone sometimes, and that's fun to do. Just tapping into that and feeling what it is and making it a natural thing that does not feel odd to you to do. Or you learn specific skills, that you did not have before you got that job, or just filling yourself with information about stuff that you didn't know. So there are things that challenge you in ways. Quentin challenges everybody in terms of what the language is and how the language is used. Majority of movies don't do that. You don't talk a lot. You do more than you say. So.
What skill would you say you've taken from a movie that you've actually applied in your real life? Like you said, it kind of unlocked things. Like, was there a skill that you didn't know that you kind of do now because of a movie?
I might sit around and sort of play guitar sometimes when I'm bored.
Oh, cool.
Just because I learned to play guitar in Black Snake Moan.
Love Craig Brewer. Great director. One thing I do love about this movie, there's obviously you say first name Mr., last name Glass. And it's the way you say it, which is awesome, like the turn in the head. I was curious, was that your choice? Was that M. Night's choice? Did you do it in a couple different ways, or was it always planned to be kind of a first name Mr., and then you kind of turn and say last name Glass?
No, it just worked out that way. We were trying to operate that door too, so that was a bit of clunkiness with me going through the door and the door slamming and doing stuff. So you kind of get somebody behind the door, hold the door, so when I can get out of it, I can get there and I can say the last part. I can let the door go. So there's mechanics involved, but no, the saying of the name was always the same.
There's a great shot. My favorite shot in the movie actually is when you're wheeling forward and then behind you, McAvoy's just taking out those dudes. Yeah,
that's kind of great.
Yeah, I was wondering how many times you had to do that. Did you know that the choreography like that was going to happen in that single tracking shot? Like, what did you know when you were shooting that sequence?
Well, I found it out when we got down there.
Yeah,
because that's the way they rehearsed it, and because it took a lot of. It was a tedious kind of shot because I have to lead the foreground or lead the camera away while all that stuff is going on behind them. And they were trying to figure out if they wanted to pull focus back to those guys or just stay with me while it was happening, to watch the satisfaction on my face of knowing that, I had this guardian angel that was, going crazy behind me and doing all this stuff. So that was stuff.
Yeah.
So, the stuff that's I don't have to make choices about, it's a director's choice. I just have to make sure that, I had what I was trying to get out of it, the fulfillment of it all, the feeling of accomplishment of me being in there and seeing that and feeling it and knowing that's how I wanted it to happen, or being a part of a team, and I can feel as strong as he is because he is my strength. This is kind of great because I don't have it physically.
Last thing I want to say, you got another wrap me up. Another favorite shot I had was this close-up of your eye. Do you have to just lay there for a couple hours for them to get that super close-up of your eye like that?
Takes a little while for them to calibrate the camera and all that other stuff. So it's okay. Yeah, you can lay down and go to sleep. And they come over, wake you up and go, okay, I need your eye open. Or, if you open your eye for a minute and they go, okay, we got to do some other stuff. And you just close your eye and go back to sleep,
That's pretty cool, man. I love that shot so much. It's just an iconic moment for the character.
Good.
So, hey,
Thank you.
Good to see you, Mr. Jackson.
Good seeing you.
So when the first trailer hit for this movie, you were the first shot. Like, it
Yes.
was literally you speaking to the three characters. Did you know at the time you shot that scene that was going to be a trailer moment? Did they tell you that?
No. I mean, I had no idea. I did, in a movie like this with that many movie stars and iconic characters being reprised, I didn't think I'd be in the trailer at all. I was like, who wants to see me when you got all that?
I want to see you. 'Cause you're
Okay.
awesome.
My mom probably does.
Yeah. But at what point do you find out that you're actually going to be opening the trailer? Do they send it to you prior?
Knight did call me and say, Universal, they cut this trailer that like, it's just you, Paulson. It's just you. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, I think it's the one we're going to do at Comic-Con, and it's great. And I was like, you know, and you never know, like, and then I saw it at Comic-Con. Actually, I watched it from underneath the screen because that was sort of the angle because we were all standing there, and the sound was so loud in there, and the audience was going so nuts, the screen was shaking. So I was like, why does my face look so lumpy? I think it was because it was moving.
Well, it was an awesome sequence. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, there's a great sequence in the film where McAvoy is changing personalities right in front of you, and that light's going off. I was curious, one, was the light practically happening there on set for you? And two, his transitions, did you know where he was going to go with each personality, or were you kind of actually surprised where he went?
No, the where he was going with each personality was scripted, actually.
Oh, wow.
And so he was doing all of that per the script and doing them all in one take. So what you see is him doing all of that. It's truly extraordinary. And the light was actually going off, and it was timed, and there was somebody back there trying to anticipate every moment when he was about to run. And so some of that was kind of hard because he had to go in and out of all that stuff, and we had to time it with the guy back there.
And this
cueing
is
the light.
more of a filmmaking question. I'm always curious about this. When we do see you close up talking to the three guys and they're not in your shot, are there ever moments where they're not really there with you? Or are you just having to like pretend? And I know acting is pretending, but like, are they always there with you for that sequence or not?
Every actor I've ever worked with has done that, but I've heard stories about people who find themselves like looking at it. I mean, sometimes you are looking at a piece of tape for an eye line, and the actor is behind the camera. This movie, we did this very cool thing where the DP used a mirror. So if the camera was facing me, there was something behind it, underneath that. So James' face was reflected in it, so I could look right at James, but it looked like I was not looking. Like it was really amazing.
That's pretty amazing.
It was pretty amazing because often you're not able to look into the eye of the actor when it's very close up. You have to get your eye line as close to camera as possible, which means you're usually looking at a piece of tape or a mark on a matte box. But this was a very ingenious, cool thing where I got to look at all the actors. It was amazing.
I've been waiting to ask you this for a couple months, so I do have one question about the car flip in Bird Box. When you
Yes.
guys flipped that,
Yes.
How was that shot? Was it a gimbal?
We were in a stunt car up on a rig in a green screen stage, but high off the ground. I had to get on a ladder to get in it, and then they flipped us for sure.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
one of
but they did it wasn't like a neck-breaking speed. It was more unnerving than that because it was kind of slow. And I was like, am I going to fall out of this bleeping car? This was really scary. Yeah.
I am curious, do you remember where you were or when you saw The Sixth Sense for the first time?
Yes, I was in Los Angeles, and I saw it in a movie theater that is now defunct on La Brea. Yeah, and it's like a place they rent out for events, but it used to be a big movie theater near my house. And I remember streams of people coming out of the showing prior to the one I was seeing, and I even ran into someone I knew who was like, oh my God, I'm not going to tell you, but I don't want to ruin it, but it's amazing. And so I saw it in a hugely crowded theater, and that was my introduction as to everybody else to Knight's movies.
And now here we are.
And now here we are, and I'm in one, and I can't even believe it.
See, I want to show this to you, actually. This is my original Unbreakable ticket.
Oh, no way. For
Yeah,
real?
I have Sixth Sense
Oh my
signs,
God,
too.
this thing's so faded.
I know.
Look at that.
Dude, that's crazy. I love that you keep things like that. I'm a giant hoarder too. I have all of my movie stub tickets.
You should see
I
my
have Sixth
memorabilia
Sense.
from
Oh,
that
God.
movie.
What do you guys collect? What's your collection?
I have a ton of pictures, like, the 3x5
Yeah.
pictures that my mom took, and I have the original shirt, my character shirt that I broke out on the last day of filming.
From Unbreakable?
From Unbreakable. I have my
so
script.
little.
I have my original bound script. It says Comic Sans. It says Unbreakable on the front that we printed and put in the sleeve, and I have little notes in the margins, like
You have
Joseph
nothing.
is sad. Joseph loves his dad.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, some cool stuff. My mom, she kept it all, so we pulled it out of the attic.
That's
What do you
so
collect?
cute. Oh God! I mean, there was a problem not even a couple of years ago. It was months.
Are you a hoarder?
I'm so bad. It's so bad. You also forget that I don't live anywhere, so I just deposit hordes of stuff. There was a moment where I was keeping every single call sheet. That was bad. I don't do that anymore
That's
because
still cool.
I'm approaching 25 movies. I can't keep every single call sheet that I've ever had. That's gonna be crazy. But I do. It's something that makes me laugh is I've always kept articles of clothing from my characters apart from one. And the other day, I was in my pajamas, and I looked in the mirror, and I was like, I'm wearing Casey's outfit. Like, exactly. Like, the black leggings, the little green shirt, the other shirt. Dude, that's what I was in this morning.
That's
my
funny.
pajamas.
That's hilarious.
That's
I love
amazing.
that.
You know, I do want to ask you, it's crazy to go back and look at the footage from the movie years ago and to now. Like, what, do you actually have to go back and watch Unbreakable again right before you shoot, or is it something you just completely ingrained in your mind?
It's funny because I actually hadn't seen Unbreakable. It had been a few years since I'd seen it last, so it was fun like revisiting that. And I don't know, in some ways I like detach myself a little bit from that. You know, I can watch Unbreakable, or I could at least, and see it doesn't feel like me. It's just like, it's so long ago.
Yeah.
So it was cool revisiting that and be like, oh no, that is me, and a lot of those same character motivations are still there. So, like particularly his love and respect for his father. So yeah, it was pretty special going back and like revisiting that character again. It's something I never thought would happen. So yeah, I had a backstory because
Because you did it.
I did it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so interesting. You know, one thing I find interesting is watching James obviously go through the personalities in one take, which blows my mind. I'm curious what it's like for you on the other end of it to watch it, like to see him transition. Do you know which ones he's always going to?
I don't, as in, like, have I read the script, or can I tell from him?
Yeah, can you tell from him, like, where he's in?
Absolutely.
Will he switch it up at all?
I mean, yes, but when he's playing so many different people, they are very specific. They have very specific ways of holding their face and their body language and everything, and it's truly a testament to his performance. I can always tell, but it's bizarre because it's almost like your brain splits in half, and you know, half of my brain is watching him and being so deeply committed to the scene, and he's doing such a good job that I'm just feeding off the energy and, you know, dancing with him, and then the other side of it is I feel like I'm watching the most talented actor in the world perform for me.
Yeah.
Like directly in front of my face, and I just get to watch it and enjoy it, and that just feels like an utter privilege and something that I don't understand why I'm so lucky that I get to experience.